best people with, best way to put it is degens hiring degens, or potentially if you don't love the term, but we're Web3 experts that are also hiring other Web3 experts. There's so many recruiters in the space that have moved over from a Web2 aspect that don't understand this space. And it's extremely difficult to hire when you don't understand why, for example, a community manager is important to a project when they're trying to build what they're trying to build. So we only hire the best here, and we only hire people that are actively invested in the space themselves, that have been in the space for a long time. I know, for example, our business development person, who I know that Ivan and the team know, Mina has been in the space for over 6 years, and Daniel's been in the space and been investing for a number of years as well. And our director obviously has come from Coin Bureau as well. So we're working, the entire team has a huge amount of experience here, and it's extremely important that you understand what DeFi is or what an NFT is. Otherwise, you're not even going to be able to start to be able to recruit this and not be able to find the right people. So in conclusion, the space is growing rapidly, and Coin Bureau and Seed Recruitment are actively invested in helping people to move into the space, but also to help find the best talent from existing Web3 projects. Our network is unrivaled compared to anyone else within the space. We highly encourage you to reach out if you want any connections as to venture capital or to people or to other projects. We operate to reach out, then feel free to have a chat with any of our consultants at any time. Rogerio is going to put all of our socials in the chat. But if you do want to chat at all as a client that wants to hire, we encourage you to reach out, and we'll show you what we can deliver as well. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Jay. I think we have, that was great. I think highlighting the jobs that about this during my next slide. But before we do that, I just wanted to do one thing. I see more people are coming. So before I move to my slides, I wanted to ask you to do the craziest move you can, right? So you can jump, you can do some stuff before we continue. Just try it out. Do some crazy stuff. Try it out.
I'm actually a gamer already, so like this is a normal platform for me. I'll run around the stage if you want me to.
Think you can share your LinkedIn here or your details so people would be able to contact you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, we'll do that for you now. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Okay, so because I switched myself and I recently wrote an article about it, I also wanted to share a few things about it and just discuss it a little bit with you and get a little bit of insights from you and maybe some comments. So a few words myself. I have a legal background, as I mentioned. I've been a lawyer in multinationals, worked in Booking.com, then moved to a smaller law firm in the Netherlands, and then I understood that I don't feel that legal is my field, so I moved on, and I wrote my first article about blockchain in 2017. I led a legal hackers community, etc. So I've been switching a lot, and I think a lot of you guys are also been switching recently. So I want to touch a little bit on that. So who is switching to Web3 right now, right? I've got some interesting stats that actually developers and tech enthusiasts, there are 46% of them. So the biggest portion of people who are moving towards Web3 is technical people, right? Developers, but also there are a lot of people from different industries who are moving, and of course investors biggest funds, the biggest VC funds, and they're deploying or holding their powder in order to invest into Web3 projects. And we see a lot of projects are being built and launched. Today, probably have heard about Arbitrum being listed on multiple exchanges, and there was a big airdrop to those who supported and tested this blockchain, right? And also, I think social activists and advocates for decentralization, they were the first who moved to Web3. I think they're the core. And talking about me personally, so I just said already that I was a lawyer, right, in Ukraine, and then I switched to the Netherlands. So first I switched the country, right, and in the meantime I started to learn. So that startups, right, and then I'm learning about startups for years, and then I understood, all right, then I want to switch from being a lawyer to work with startups. So what I did in 2016, I started a business accelerator for legal tech startups, right? And I worked with it for 6 years. In the meantime, I started to learn about crypto, and I started to buy. It was a previous bear market that I started with, and so it overlapped. And then in 2020, I've met Ivan and Taras during the program in the US for entrepreneurs. And then in that year, we started working together, and we started 3x Capital, which is investment and advisory company for Web3 startups and projects. So you see how I was gradually moving from being a lawyer, which is really far away from being a Web3 person, then to getting closer to startups and getting closer to Web3. So for me, it was actually not a immediate switch, but more a shift, right? So I've been shifting from one profession to another. So now I would like to ask you to write in the chat, what profession did you switch from, or you plan to switch? Right. So I'm really curious to know what kind of what people are you doing? What sort of things are you doing? Can you please write it for me? What profession do you want to move to Web? What was your previous life? I see the Web2 solutions architect migrating to Web3. All right. My LinkedIn, yes, definitely. I'll share it with you in a second, or maybe after the presentation. So yeah, really curious to know a little bit more about you people. So feel free to drop your background and your LinkedIn so we can connect. I'll also share mine. Okay, so switching to why, right? This is important. Why people are switching to Web3, and why me personally, why I switched to Web3. I think there is a great ethos about it, that there is more control over personal data and digital identity, but also there is also more decentralization and community-driven system. But I think in the end, it is more about opportunities. So people are seeking something new, something exciting, and I think this is the right place. Why I think this piece of stats shows that in terms of user adoption, we're now somewhere next to internet in 1999, and it also shows that there are a lot of new companies to be built in, and there are a lot of exciting jobs to be work at. So these are things that are exciting to me. I think it should be exciting to you. And me personally, why I switched, I was really curious about the technology, how does it work? So now I'm also testing different blockchains just for fun. And sometimes I get some airdrops, which is nice. Also the speed of change. How about you guys? but in legal, wow, this is slow, right? Things been building for centuries, and now people want to change. I don't know, maybe in your profession is different, but for lawyers, I think maybe for financial people, it's also very, very slow. And there is also a lot of potential to make some profit and to make some impact in terms of technology, in terms of influencing people's lives. I enjoy it. Okay, and the last question is how to get involved into Web3. I think this question has already been raised by Vlada. And these are three things that came to my mind, right? So you can learn about blockchain technology bit by bit. Then you can participate in Web3 communities and events like this. I think this is a great start to connect. You can connect with and or help you being hired. And of course, you can explore opportunities to build best in Web3 projects, right? As a venture fund, but we also have a community of investors where you can join and you can invest with little tickets in startups that we're investing in pre-seed and seed stage. That is usually you can't really invest as a individual, but with us you can do that. And how I personally got involved, that is, I studied by research. You can see the slide that says, can blockchain technology win the battle against fraud and bribery? Well, I still answer to this. It is an article I wrote in 2017. I still don't have an answer to that. Probably no, maybe yes, I hope so. But that was my beginning, how I started to get involved. Then I started testing. I think if you can test things, that is great. And actually, we've been writing, and there are some articles on internet with guides how you can test. You don't have to be really technical to test different blockchains and different applications, DeFi, and then you can actually get rewarded. So this is part of Web3 where resources are being distributed, which is great. Right, and then I started investing little by little, starting from Bitcoin and then exploring startups in Web3. So that was my story, and that was my last slide. And now what I want to ask you to do is to write your profession if you haven't done so, or if you're looking for a new profession, please write down about yourself, just one-liner would be nice, and then share your LinkedIn. So Jay could pick it up, so other people could pick it up. And just for me personally, this is really interesting to know who is coming to our events. So thanks a lot, people. Now I'm gonna be switching again, and I will give the word to Oksana, our educational manager, for more insights about the educational program that we have that can skills in Web3 and become an analyst or an investor. It depends. Floor is yours. Keep dropping LinkedIn. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Dima, for sharing your story about switching into Web3. And frankly, I have my own story about switching into Web3, and it's thanks 3x Capital, and thanks, we'll tell you more just in a second. Yeah, by the way, I want to start from a small introduction from my side. My name is Oksana Budanos. I'm a partnership manager of 3x Capital, and I'm really proud to be part of our cool team. Before the 3x Capital, I've been involved into EdTech and AI startups. It was two of them. And yeah, after joining this program for investment analyst from 3x Capital, I joined VC space and 3x Capital team, and also a member of Women in Tech movement in VC, and we are really happy to help startups, especially Web3 startups, to grow. So let's move on. And yeah, it's my pleasure to tell you more about the opportunity which 3x Capital gives to you. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we have mission to unite and empower Web3 professionals to accelerate growth and innovation in the industry by providing comprehensive education on investment analysis. As you know, Web3 industry continues to expand and mature, and right now it's definitely a good time to switch into Web3. And what we can see at the market right now is really lack of balance at Web3 market. It's a lack of Web3 investment analysts at the market, at lots of space to professional development. That's why we managed to build our investment analyst program. And so we already had first cohort of the program, and hosted lots of hours in Metaverse. And I'm sure that right now with us in this space, we have some people who right now are participating in the program. So please make a move if you're right now part of Web3 investment analyst course. We'll be happy to see who are today with us. Yeah, hello Kelly, hello David, happy to see you with us. Yeah, and basically we are happy to announce that we will launch the fifth cohort of the course in this April, so it's definitely a good time to join us and enhance your professional background. So what is Web3 Investment Analyst course? It's 10-week long practical educational course from 3x Capital that delivered in Metaverse that gives fundamental knowledge on blockchain analytics and applying into investment cases. So we aim to give the real experience and our insights of working as a Web3 VC fund, and we're really happy to share our expertise, our processes with all who want to know more about Web3 startups analytics. Also, this course gives you an access to a network in Web3 ecosystem. So we are happy to unite all Web3 enthusiasts, our current and past course participants, and also to give them access to our venture partners network, our service partners networks, and a network of our Web3 startups. And also it's an access to really fast, and it has implementation in different aspects of everyday life, and EdTech is not an exemption. So we want to implement this Web3 experience into your educational experience with us. That's why the whole program is held in Metaverse, in those lecture like auditorium that we have right now. Also, we have our lounge at Metaverse, so we will be really happy to share this Metaverse experience with you and also give you a try of this technology. So talking about our educational approach, is important to mention that our key values here is mentoring, open knowledge sharing, hands-on experience, self-learning, and proactivity. We're sure that this approach will provide participants the best learning experience, well-rounded education, and empowering by self-learning and learning by community. So regarding the course, as I mentioned before, we have 10 weeks, our main course curriculum, and we will cover such a topic as evaluation process, crypto niches discovery, type of investment and startup valuations, market assessment, community assessment, tokenomics, ROI, MC and TDD metrics calculation, backers overview, and new topics which we will add to this cohort is fundraising to Web3 startups and portfolio management. What I would like to add here as well, that in the 5th cohort we will have additional track for startups. So if you are a Web3 startup founder and you want to dive deeply into different aspects of startups building, we will definitely provide you with additional information about it. By the way, for the investment analysts, these lectures will be optional and they can also join this lecture. So what's after? So after the program, you can become an investment analyst in Web3 investment institutions. We have our partners, different VC firms, different recruitment agencies who can help you to find a place under the sun for you as a skilled and professional Web3 investment analyst. And for sure, after the program, you will have your, I can say, like portfolio, like examples of deal sheets and researches that you can share with your future employee and make sure that you know what you are doing. Secondly, you can create a Web3 startup with in partnership with 3x Capital. So we're really happy to share our knowledge, help you to build the startup, advise you in different topics which connect to Web3. So happy to help you. As another point, you can start investing and assessing in more structured manner. So we will have the lecture in tokenomics, in financial analysis and portfolio management. So you can definitely know how to invest in more structured manner. And the last but not least, you can join 3x Capital Investment Club and apply your knowledge into practice and invest with us into Web3 startups. Yeah, so what we managed here, as I mentioned before, we have all our classes in Metaverse because we cannot stay aside of Web3 technology. That's why we have tokenized access to the Metaverse by NFTs. So we have 2 NFTs which give you an access to the space, to the course. It's NFT basic and NFT, Web3X basic and Web3X professional NFT passes. And having this NFT pass at your wallet gives you an access to our program. So take care. We have limited amount of people for the 5th cohort, and please join us, and we will be really happy to work with you during the program. So in case you have any additional questions, feel free to reach me out at LinkedIn or reach anyone from our team. We are more than happy to discuss everything you would like to discuss with us. We are really happy to answer your questions, to support you with additional materials. And overall, if you want to enter the Web3 space and know more about investing in Web3 startups, understanding the blockchain technology, and know how to evaluate in a proper way Web3 startups, join us, follow us in social media pages. We are really happy to share with you our knowledge.
Thanks a lot, Oksana. And maybe I can also give you a little bit of backstage about this program. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can drop them in the chat. So we started this program. The first cohort was an internal program where we, at first, we actually wanted to find a Web3 analyst to join our team, but it was quite hard to do on the market. So we found a few talented people, and we just created an internal program for them. And then we saw that it makes sense. So then we started another program where we invited more people, and they were also happy with it. And some of the people, some of participants said, why wouldn't you make it more public? So then we made it public, and now people can join it, but still it is quite a small cohort of up to 20 people that we are working hands-on together, and then trying to help them as much as possible. All right. So now we are moving towards the last section. I'm inviting Petro to join his insights on the push and high Ethereum staking. Petro, please. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you so much, Dima. Hi, everyone. I'm finally happy to present a part of my report. But we've been talking a lot today about Web3 jobs, about how to switch from Web2. And right now, let's take a small look into what you can actually do in Web3. But before we start, let me briefly tell you a few words about myself. So I'm a senior investment analyst at 3x Capital. I have a background in data analysis and information technologies. Before joining Web3 industry, I was working in government project with data analysis, with a lot of amount of data, as you can imagine. So it was kind of boring for me, and I decided to switch to Web3. Now I can say that I'm working with even bigger amount of data, but I'm really happy to be a part of this movement and yeah, be like the part of thing that is changing the world. So I'm having a motivation to work every day and be a part of a great 3x Capital team. I'm curious that there is no presentation currently. So you guys can see the presentation on our screen?
No, I think it dropped. Sorry about it. Fixing it right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's wait until it. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Dima. So yeah, let me continue. Today we will talk about Ethereum, and as you might know, Ethereum developers agreed on a big upgrade to come in April 12. It will be a long-awaited upgrade that will enable the Ethereum that is currently staked to be withdrawable. So the name of this upgrade is Shanghai, and I believe part of you heard about it. And as you can remember, in September, Ethereum switched to a proof of stake consensus mechanism. And instead of miners, network began using validators. And validators need to stake 32 ETH in order to approve or add blocks into the blockchain and actually guarantee the safety of the blockchain. And if there are any malicious activities, those validators can be slashed, and part or all of their ETH stake can be just taken away from them. So this process with staking started at the beginning. The end of 2020, the PSB chain went live, and now, if actually this upgrade will be successful, starting from April 12th, validators will be able to decide whether they want to keep their stakes or they just want to withdraw them. And what we can see on this chart, we can understand that despite the uncertainty around whether they will be able to unstake, the percent of staked ETH to 15.35%, and around 1.2 million in ETH added to staking, or approximately 1% of increase, 1% of total supply of ETH in increase in staking. So it shows us that there is a lot of belief in this upgrade, and people are actually staking more. So let's move to another slide. And here, the purpose of this table is to show you to show you that Ethereum is has relatively low staking ratio other POS networks. You can see, for example, for networks like Avalanche, Polygon, Polkadot, their staking ratios are definitely bigger than for ETH. And today we will try to understand if can the Shanghai upgrade change it and increase the staking ratio for the Ethereum. So let's look at ETH stakers market share. It's a current representation of the market share around all stakers of the ETH. And on this chart, we can review the distribution between not companies, but actually different types of stakers. And you can see, and I believe part of you already knew it, that the biggest part of staking size comes from liquid staking, and it stands for 36% of all ETH staked, while the second place is exchanges, and it represents 26% of the total ETH that is staked. Sorry, could you mute yourself, please? Yep, let me continue. And the third place here is for whales. Well, whales means that it's a single wallet which holds a big amount of Ethereum, and the whales represents 20% of staked supply in total. So let's look into the next slide. And the next one is about the part of liquid staking. So for liquid staking, in more details, we can see that LIDA as the organization is actually an absolute leader. I believe there is the problem with presentation once again. Let's wait while Dima will reload it, and we'll continue.
Be on soon. Some technical issues. Yeah, sometimes Metaverses there still, have some bugs. Not that it's perfect. Okay, so I think it's the share screen doesn't work for me anymore. Somehow, Petro, do you think you could, Ivan, maybe you could help with that?
I can do it, sure.
That would be
Just a second, everyone.
Thanks.
Please confirm if you see my screen.
Yes, we see it. And before we continue, I can see the question in the chat. The question is about whales. So not really. Whales are not considered validators like organizations. It's more like separate wallets that actually are not public, not known. So basically, it can even be a known investor which has a big amount of ETH staked. So answering your questions, it's more like not organizations, but more solo angel investors who are just staking solo stakers. Okay, so let's continue with the presentation and review the market share of actually liquid staking. And maybe the thing that I didn't mention, let's look what is the difference between staking of ETH and liquid staking. So actually, liquid staking is a quite hot topic currently. And while considering the difference between staking ETH and delegating it, for example, to validators, you are just locking your Ethereum. If you are a validator, you are locking 32 ETH into the smart contract. If you are delegating, you can delegate from a smaller size than 32. Basically, it can be even starting from 0.01 ETH. But the difference with liquid staking is while you are using liquid staking platforms, you are receiving a liquid derivative on top of your staked ETH, which represents your staking share of the Ethereum asset. And you can use this liquid derivative in different DeFi platforms, DeFi protocols. So with this derivative, you can generate additional yield on top of your staked asset. So it is the main difference, and this liquid staking narrative is quite popular currently, and also today we will cover a little bit the future of this narrative, and we will try to understand if it's like the temporary hype or is it the thing that will stay with us in the near future. But let's get back to the numbers. So you can see in the chart that Lido is actually a leader of this liquid staking, and they represent the 75% of market share. But starting from July 2022, we've seen that Coinbase also joined into this liquid staking party, and another considerable competitor for Lido is also Rocket Pool. And if you add the market share of Coinbase and Rocket Pool together, we will have the 21% of market share combined. And my projection is that those numbers are likely to change after successful Shanghai upgrade, as we might see more demand for staking, simply because it will be more comfortable for investors to know that they can withdraw their funds whenever they want, and they just not keeping their asset to be blocked for the unknown time. And let's move to the next one. And this one is important to understand the probability of the sell-off when we will be able to withdraw our ETH from staking contracts. And this chart shows us that we know that staking on Bitcoin chain started in 2020, and since then 18.9 million ETH was staked with a different price of ETH. As you may know, from 2020 till now, the ETH as an asset was quite volatile, and the price was changing in tens of percents. And in this chart, we can see that only 26.6% of all stakers are currently in profit. Another part of stakers are in loss. So we can understand that it's really unlikely to see a huge sell-off when withdrawals will be enabled, just because a lot of investors are currently in loss and they just have no motivation to sell their assets right now. Yeah, and let's look into summary. Let's sum up everything. So what we need to know from today's presentation, what we need to remember, the first thing that I'm actually expecting that more people will be staking is after successful Shanghai upgrade. And in such scenario, I'm expecting that majority are likely to prefer liquid staking derivatives because it can actually generate a better profit, and it's possible to investors to use a small part of allocations, small part of funds to invest. The second thing which we need to remember is the date for Shanghai upgrade. It is set by Ethereum developers for 12th of April in the epoch, which you can see on the screen. The third thing is that in comparison to other proof of stake networks, only the little percentage of this supply is staked, and I'm expecting it to grow in the higher pace after the successful upgrade. If we talk about liquid staking one more time, we remember that absolute leader is LIDA in terms of size. However, more alternatives are rapidly capturing the market share. And the last thing, which is quite important to also remember, that around 26% of staked ETH is currently in profit, which highly decreases the probability of high volume sell-off post-upgrade. And yeah, it's really hope that today's information will help you to build your own strategy and to play the upcoming Ethereum upgrade. So it was a pleasure to present this information to you today, and I will be happy to answer any questions if you have some. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Petro. So feel free to unmute yourself if you have any question, or you can also jot it in the chat. All right, so I'll give you a second to unmute or to drop the question. In the meantime, we have a QR code and also a link where you can find all of our social medias, LinkedIn, Twitter, Medium, and the rest. So you could join, and of course you can always reach us. I think the easiest way would be through LinkedIn, and give us a heads up if you're a startup, if you're an investor, if you just want to join Web3. We have so many options to cooperate and have this partnership together in the future. So we'll be glad to connect and to chat. Right, I see no other questions. Thanks, Kelly. It was great and a pleasure and honor to have you everybody here. I think we can see each other next month, or we're going to be chatting soon. All right, have a good rest of the day, everybody. Cheers. You can stay around if you want to just explore the metaverse.
A wonderful evening, everyone. Or morning. Bye-bye.